Hey guys, it's Richard with your Monday Spot on the Pagan Perspective, and this week we're talking about the differences between Orthodoxy and Orthopraxy. This week's topic comes from Caleb, who writes, what do you think about the differences between Orthodoxy and Orthopraxy, and which do you feel most closely fits your personal path? Wow. Okay. So now that I got my auctioneer training out of the way, let's get into today's topic. Okay, before we get into the topic of my personal practice, let's talk about the differences between Orthodoxy and Orthopraxy. This comes from thoughtco.com, and it states that these are the concepts of Orthodoxy, which is belief in a doctrine, and Orthopraxy, the emphasis on practice or action. Okay, so it's either correct belief versus correct practice. So in that means, and this is what they give an example on thoughtco.com, and I'll try to leave the link in the bottom bar so you guys can go check out my source on that. So the way that they actually state it on that website, on that blog, or whatever you want to call it, is Orthodoxy is kind of like the Protestants, where they say, well, you believe in this, and therefore you're okay. Versus the Catholics, who are, okay, you have a set way of doing everything this way, and it has to be done at this time, in this manner, and blah, 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 all that stuff. And that is how you end up being saved. In the magical community, I would say it's the difference between the root worker or the conjure worker being more orthodox, believing that, okay, I pick out this, this herb and I go, and believing that it will do work, and it does, versus the ceremonial magician, who will sit there and say, I need to point this in this way, and this is what happens, and boom, and that's how it works. So, and that, I mean, that's drastically overstated, but anyway, you get the point of things have to happen on certain days in certain ways and at certain times, and that's more of your ceremonial practitioners that follow that type of setup. And that's Orthopraxy. Now, in my practice, I used to be more orthopraxic, so I used to have a set way of doing everything. You had a set time, a set standard of ways to do it, and I used to have a little bit of leeway one way or another that still kept it within the scope. In the last years, I have taken a more orthodox route with my practice, in that the first couple years of my practice, it was like, oh, okay, I have a set way of doing everything, and now it's like I have more of a life that I'm actually out there doing more stuff, and I don't have time to plan out an elaborate ritual and set time aside for it, because there are other things that I need to do on those days. And it's not that my practice isn't important to me, it's that ain't nobody got time for an hour-and-a-half ritual, which is, I'd say about an hour long would be about the length of the common ritual for me. And that takes a long time to do that, especially if you want to do it on a certain day at a certain time. It gets very tiresome trying to work around that schedule. Now, that's not to say that I don't see the value in having an orthopraxic type of practice. It's that it doesn't work for me in my time schedule like it used to. And I wish it kind of did, because I liked the rules. But with the orthodoxical practice that I have now, I kind of like that I don't have rules. I can pick things at random and say, okay, I want to mix this with this, and according to my way of thinking, they should do this, and do my magic, and do my will, and whatnot. And that's how my practice is now. Now, with that type of practice, it's great. It's no rules, we're going crazy with no rules here. But in a way, I kind of miss the rules. sometimes I miss the rules because I miss that, you know, this was only for purification, or, you know, this was only for this purpose. And yeah, I miss those days because things had a set standard. You could kind of go by the rubrics of this equals that. You had a mathematical standard that you would work with your herbiary, or herbiary? Your herbs. The way that you combine them and which ones you use to combine to make an incense. You had like a mathematical formula. If you want this result, this, and this, go into this incense, you grind it up, you burn it, and there you go. Now it's kind of this. Yeah, maybe just a little bit of that. Ooh, hell no. Yeah, okay, it's kind of like that. And it makes it a little bit harder to practice my practice like that. Sometimes I find myself picking out an herb and saying, oh, okay, I'm going to go, and I'm just like picking up random herbs here, going to the books and saying, okay, what is this known to be good for? And, you know, am I able to use it in this and that? It has a good scent. I like the scent. Let's do this. If only for this property. So I start finding myself kind of tailoring things a little bit more. But still, I kind of miss the days of rules. But in a way, I kind of don't. I kind of don't miss it. So anyway, it's very complicated. I have very conflicting feelings about orthodoxy versus orthopraxy. My practice right now is kind of orthodox, but missing the orthopraxy. So yeah, I'm just a walking, talking contradiction. In points, if you know who was another walking, talking contradiction, who is actually my favorite musician. So that's all that I have for this week's video. Good topic. Gave me a lot to think about. I've actually been thinking about this the last couple days. So yeah, fun topic. I think we're on again next week. Anyway, I think we're on again next week. So I'll see you guys then. Again, the link to thethoughtco.com is in the bottom bar if you would like to jump on over to see that webpage. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.